Hi, how are you? Okay, thank you. Good, thank you. I just applied to see if I can get a job, like a part-time job, cleaning tables and stuff. I said no about I'll try again later. Right. Anyway, so how are you all doing? Right. Good. Point. All right. So I was just watching something on Broman TV, and it's about Oprah again, and The Sound of Freedom, that film. So Oprah was found guilty in Africa of aiding and abetting somebody who was employed by her orphanages and her who was sexually abusing children and selling them to people who came to the orphanage for like, it seemed like a short period of time, but if they were using speed time, it could have been a very long time. So, supposedly they were visiting the orphanages and the children to see if they wanted to adopt the children. And they were getting private time with the children, and so the children were being abused during that time. Right. So why wasn't it in the media? Well, some of it wasn't in the media, but because they own so much media, the details were a little bit fuzzy, right? So let's see, Sound of Freedom, yeah. So I've just seen it. I had to see it in two parts because it's like horrible. Yeah, so hugely horrific. How they trick children into being raped, right? Because if they're younger than the age of 18, even if they're tricked to say yes, it's always you're never allowed to do it, and it's always rape, right? So going from high dimensions and parallel dimensions and stuff, sometimes they say if they've got DNA upgrades or the shape changes or stuff. Same with animals, right? So if they're small, never. Right? I've got to be 18 years old. So that's 18 years old, 30 years old, which is a good question. Well, if you want more information about that, you can dance out to Terry. And got to be emotionally, psychologically mature, and intellectually mature and healthy, and want to, yes, both want to of their own free will, and not related to each other, not family to each other, and all that stuff. So it's always rape if they're younger than 18 years old, and those other qualifications aren't filled. So with animals also, it depends on the animal. It got to be a shape change. I mean, if it's just a normal animal, no, never. Unless you're another animal, same species. Same qualifications. If they're a shape changer, got to be adult size. Got to also one involved has to be shape changer. You're right. Not animal size. No, got to be adult. You're right. Emotionally, psychologically, size, intellectually, healthy enough. Got to want to. Got to not be related and all that stuff. I've got to want to have their own free will and stuff. Yeah. Right. So in apart from those cases that it's always rape with an animal other than that as well, right? So don't do any of that, right? Yeah. Yeah, so they the people spoken about in the Sound of Freedom sound like they're professional. It's a professional paedophile ring, professional child rape ring, and child trafficking ring. So they get training, professional training to abuse children, and lie to children and trick children into trusting them enough to go with them or letting them come with them, and animals do. They are organised crime, and the criminals that are organised, in other words, they're organised crime. And sometimes, yes, it comes from rich people, sometimes it comes from famous people that are members, and sometimes they'll all know each other, and they're linked, and sometimes people in those principalities, rulers of evil, wickedness, authority, etc., in the positions of power and high places and other places, say things like we're priests, we're nuns, we're politicians, we're royalty, we're thrones, and no one will believe you. Don't they? Poor us. If it's happened to you, I believe you. If you know of any of that stuff that's happened to anyone, even if it's you, even if it's someone else, please think down to your heart to me too. See if I can find some non-corrupt ones to give us a hand to. Love you, and in love with everyone I'm in love with, and no one love me about and never know you. That's right, because it's got to be stopped. Not the children. The adults who are abusing the children. That's right. Because it's not right to trick or abuse or sexually abuse or anything. That's right. Or lie. That's right. Not right to do it to you. That's right. Let's see. Because innocents, like children and animals, have to be protected. Adults who are innocent as well. And anyone who's righteous, innocence is a form of righteous. Some people say children born in sin. That's not correct. Children are born innocent because they've come just from God. Just been incarnated from God through their mothers, through their fathers, through their fathers and mothers into their mothers. Usually, sometimes it's just test tubes, but it requires egg and sperm and all splicing and all. There's always egg and sperm involved, right? And God creator. So, and God creator. God creator of souls and hoping this is something I'm trying to watch out for in alternate realities, which is a bit worrying, right? So, anyway, please, everyone, please pray about this to either to whoever you can trust that I can trust as well, or donate to me, Terry, and let's help ourselves and each other. Yeah, there we go.